Welcome to Vinyl Verdict. I am Bell.
I am Jamie.
I am Plouffe.
And this is a podcast for emo kids.
Is it?
Today it is.
Yeah, because this week we're listening to American Idiot by Green Day.
I didn't agree to this.
It's a punk rock opera by the Californian rock band Green Day. As I said, I didn't prepare these notes with me introducing the album with the artist name. That released in 2004.
It did.
Yeah.
I was in grade 11.
I was in grade 9? I was 14. Yeah, I was in grade
You don't
9.
need to know how old I am, listener, but I was alive, and I was young.
You were in like grade 7.
I don't think that's true.
6.
I mean, you can keep guessing.
You were grade 6.
Sure.
Sure.
I actually expected more of a pushback because I think last week when I said this was the album coming out soon, or next week, I guess, I said it was a punk rock opera, and Plouffe was like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah.
No, it is because it's got a main character, and then some of the songs are split up into parts.
It is an album.
Yeah.
I'd call it like a pop punk opera, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
At the time, was pop punk even a thing?
yes.
Yeah,
it was very much
so.
a thing.
I don't know.
2004?
I
Sum
think
41,
No
Blink
Effects.
182.
It's like
Well,
when
no
you're
effects
doing
isn't pop punk.
Well, they're actual punk.
They're actual punk, but
They're
they
punky.
do. Yeah,
Punk
It's
more-
like,
more-
you know when you're
definitely
doing
more
an
punk than
essay
these
or
guys.
speech, you go, Webster's Dictionary defines.
Yeah.
Wikipedia defines Green Day as a rock band.
Sum 41.
Really? A rock band? Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
So it's a rock opera,
That's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
just not punk rock.
Yeah, it's just.
It's edgy, but it's not edgy like actual punk rock.
Well,
Yeah.
what we can all agree on is that this is about...
it's an album.
It sure is.
But what we can all agree on is that this is Green Day's 7th album.
It's true.
Yeah, I was actually
Wow,
surprised.
Okay, yeah, because it's like Kerplunk, Dookie.
You don't need to name them all. It's okay.
In order,
Insomnia.
Jamie.
You've
Keep
already
going.
missed one.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
You've already missed one.
Keep going.
What was the... where?
39 Smooth was their first
Oh,
album.
That's an
wow.
EP, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
a studio
Smooth out Slappy Hours or whatever. Yeah, anyway, and then there's Warning, which is my favorite Green Day album. I don't know
Wild.
why.
It's one of the reasons why this album exists as it is.
Yeah,
because
because
it did
people
not
didn't
sell
like
well.
it. Yeah.
Right,
Really?
people liked it. It just didn't sell well.
Yeah.
But there was also Nimrod, in between there.
Yeah, I like Nimrod.
Yeah, it's a great album. And it's the 7th of 13 they have so far, which is crazy.
Trace.
It's their last good album.
Unos. Yeah,
And I don't
it
feel
really
like
is.
that, even if you didn't really like this album, it's the last of what people would consider good
That's
Green
fair.
Day albums.
Yeah.
Their latest album is called like Son of All Mother or something like
They're
that.
trying to bring it back.
It's terrible.
Father of all.
Father of all. Yeah, it's terrible.
I haven't listened to it yet, but yeah. So they have a lot of albums now, and this is probably the last good one. I know 21st Century Breakdown had a couple songs, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
No.
the title track on that one is actually a banger.
And 21 Guns.
120.
Oh, God, that's them.
DMC.
Yeah.
I actually don't know too much about Green Day, so like Radiohead, I'm not going to spend a ton of time introducing them because I just wasn't
Billy Joe Armstrong.
alive during a lot of their popular
Trey
eras.
Cool.
But this is like the only album I really ever listened to by them. Like I'd heard songs off of
Fair
other
enough,
ones,
yeah.
but when I was a kid, I loved this album. My mom was a fan of Green Day at the time, so we had a CD, and I took it and I would listen to it on loop.
Wow.
And as a young man, like preteen, would just rock this album, not understanding a single political thing that this album was referencing, not realizing it was a story,
Yeah. It's a
not
long
realizing
album.
anything. Yeah, it's an hour long, and or just under 57 minutes, and did not understand. But this album was extremely popular when it released. It won awards, reviewed decently, sold a ton of records, and even ended up becoming an award-winning Broadway show, which is wild.
If you were in high school or college at the time, you'd see
very-
the logo, like the heart hand grenade thing. You see that everywhere,
Yeah,
like absolutely everywhere.
A lot of people had posters in my dorm.
Oh, yeah,
of the heart with the hand
In his
grenade.
dorm room,
Yeah.
it was him.
Ooh.
It was me.
A lot of like
Several
beanies.
of the heart hand grenades.
It was the Joker posters of our time.
You wore a lot of black T-shirt, button-up shirts with a red striped tie.
Looks-
just like
No,
Green
but
Day
that
did.
was very
Or what's his
popular.
face,
That
Billy
was very
Golding.
popular
Yeah.
because Avril Lavigne had made that also
It
popular
was
for girls.
That was the style at the time.
Yeah.
Everyone was wearing ties in 2004.
Put a turnip on your belt.
Onion. Put
Onion.
an onion on the belt.
But yeah, this was a pretty big revitalization for the band. And I chose it because I was partially curious to know if this holds up. I have not actually listened to it probably since I was a young teen.
Really?
And even after I chose it, I had not listened to it. And I had the album because I saw it in like an auction or whatever and bought it, chose it for this, and then listened to it again.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting because, again, a lot of this was lost to me as a kid. And I think we can all agree, George Bush.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But
You know what, though? In context of now, George Bush seems like a good president,
sure.
which is scary.
Yeah, it's kind of bad, right?
Yeah.
yeah, but the sentiments and references really date the album. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of like direct references to events that, like, by now, unfortunately, are like commonly known, commonplace.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was ages ago.
20
Like,
years
it's such
ago.
a weird
This album
thing
is
that
old
people
enough
just
to
move
vote.
past. Yeah, and people just like move past it. It's like, that's
Actually, is
such a
this
weird thing.
album old enough to vote? Yeah, it's over 18 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is his 19th year. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's current year. But yeah, I just found a lot of the political stuff to be a little blunt.
It is very on the nose.
Yeah, I wasn't consciously aware of anything other than my own little world back when this came out. So
No.
I don't know. What did you guys think?
This is an album I really enjoyed when I was a high school student, and I own the CD, and I bumped that on the way to school and whatnot. There was songs on this album that were played out by the time I graduated high school. Like, if I ever hear Boulevard
yeah.
of Broken Dreams one more time,
Kill me.
I'm gonna
That song was
I'm
extremely popular.
I'm going to unalive
Oh my
myself.
Yeah. Super popular.
And like the title track to the album still sucks. The sentiment of it is fine, but the title track is not a banger. It has never been a banger. It has never been cool. But there's some other ones like the Jesus of Suburbia suite, which is like the second track, I believe. It has some really good parts to it, and it draws from the tradition of other rock album or rock operas. Like Tommy. Tommy
Yeah.
is a suite that has like a Jesus of Suburbia suite to it, but it's just called the Overture to Tommy.
Yeah.
And it's broken up into themes just like this. And a lot of these like themes that are in Jesus of Suburbia come back in other parts of the album, just like in Tommy. Is it as timeless, or is it as like interesting to go back on as Tommy is now? I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Tommy, but I will say that reviews of it now are still pretty good. But you're right. A lot of the references in this are extremely dated, and like they weren't dated when it came out, but they were coming from guys who were talking about perceiving what a teenager would think about what the world was. And these guys were already deep into their 30s at that point. Like Billy Joe Armstrong is like a 55-year-old man now, and like when he was talking about like the perspective of a teenager in 2004 or 2003, I guess, because this album was recorded and then released. Like this guy's like trying to write from the perspective of a 35-year-old teenager, right?
Yeah, he was 32 at the time.
Yeah.
It always struck me as kind of hollow as well.
Well,
that
it's
reason.
it's like Blink-182 writing songs about your first date, and Blink-182 were in their late 20s,
Yeah.
early 30s.
Yeah.
It's like,
Nobody
what do you
likes their
remember?
They just
I
weren't
agree.
good with girls.
Yeah, they just weren't very
got
good
their
with
first
girls.
dates.
Yeah, it was always first dates, 50 first dates, but that was their whole dating career. So like I like the instrumentation on the album is very tight. It was a real revitalizer for their career. It's not an album that I would go back and listen to, not again, but like I wouldn't listen to this album regularly anymore. It's very whiny.
Yes.
In certain spots.
That's my overarching problem with the whole thing.
But when I liked it, I was also a whiny teenager.
Yeah.
And I was, it's like fight the power, but I
Yeah.
didn't really know what the power was. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh. I remember, actually, you know what though? I remember when the U.S. invaded Iraq.
Sure. The first time?
No.
That's the 80s.
I was in 1991. I was 3 years old.
Oh, yeah, 90s.
When they invaded again.
Yeah.
I remember people coming into school. It's like, we got them. We invaded. They invaded Iraq. People were excited about that at first because like it was dumb. Like it was like, and like people in my high school were also dumb, and we were praying that they would start a war for some reason, and then they did it. And then anyway, this album came out, and we were just like, yeah, the Iraq War is bad now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's weird how much like jingoism came up to Canada. Like we share a border, but like it's not our war at all. Our towers weren't just, I don't know. There was so much solidarity at the time.
Oh yeah. Oh god. And every year they had a reminder that, you know, we're going to take a moment of silence for all the people lost in 9/11. It's like,
don't get me wrong.
Cool.
It's sad. A lot of people died, but I mean, atrocities happen around the world constantly.
Yeah. It's the only atrocity that you're frequently reminded of.
Yeah.
Other than, you know, like anyway.
Plouffe, what about you? What do you think? What's your experience with this album? Did you ever listen to it back in the day?
I listened to it in snippets and songs for basically the same reason. It was played like crazy on the radio. A lot of my friends really liked Green Day. They grew up listening to Dookie and probably some other albums too. But you know, they were
maybe.
Yeah, maybe sure.
Brain stew on it because that was on the Godzilla soundtrack.
Oh yeah, okay. I never got into Green Day all my friends were really into. They were really into their pop punk phase with like Blink-182, Sum 41, these guys. I was listening to like metal and like classic punk, like Dead Kennedys, The Clash, Sex Pistols,
Misfits.
You know, Misfits. Like nothing super hardcore.
Fugazi.
No, it wasn't anything like super hardcore. Mostly just the hits from that time, like the late 70s, early 80s. But it was. So by the time I listened to this, I was like, yeah, I know. Like it's like I've already heard all the like more hardcore and intense anti-political statements. So it wasn't like new to me or revolutionary. I'd heard stronger words coming from other albums like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when all my friends were all like listening to this and like, oh, it's so deep and like, isn't it so sad and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, yeah, sure. I don't know. It never struck a chord with me. After having to listen to it for an hour, there's definitely some tracks that are like okay, and you know, if someone puts it on, I'm not going to completely hate it. But then I don't like how many double songs there are, where it's like,
oh, that's only on the digital release.
It's only on the digital release.
I don't know why Spotify decided to group together some of these songs. Like, what if you want to listen to Boulevard of Broken Dreams without Holiday?
It's just the digital release.
Okay, that makes it a bit better because I was like, this is so weird. Like this,
there's
the
13
song completely
tracks on
changes.
the record. It just has 13 separate tracks.
Like
okay, that helps things a little bit. Sure.
Actually, on my CD, the separate parts of Jesus of Suburbia and the last song are 4 separate tracks. So there's actually 21 tracks.
On the record, it's like 2 Jesus of Suburbia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that.
Okay.
And then Holiday.
It's like on Wish You Were Here, how Shine On Your Crazy Diamond has all those parts.
Part 3, 4, 5. Yeah. That makes it a bit better. But then what it kind of makes me realize is that I really don't like at least half of the tracks on the album. I don't like the up and down storytelling stuff. I've never been a huge, like, the only rock opera I think I really like is The Wall, and even then I don't.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
I don't necessarily like. I love the movie, but
the movie's a trip.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like it. You know, it's not for like the statement behind it. Like I like all that other stuff, and I like listening to the lyrics, but it's really the spectacle of The Wall that kind of draws me in.
What's another rock opera? Did we count Sgt. Pepper's on that?
Sure, I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a good album, but I don't like it as a rock opera.
And then then there's the rock opera Hair.
Oh,
I like that one.
Sure. But yeah.
Rocky Horror? Is that a rock opera?
Yeah, kind of.
It's okay.
It's a rock musical.
We don't need to name all the rock operas.
We don't sit there and rock operas.
Let's just start naming them all.
But although I do like storytelling and stuff in lyrics, and I like themed albums.
Sure.
It just doesn't like pull me into the story of like, you know, who is
Jesus of Suburbia?
Yeah, like I don't.
You never really get a great picture of who Jesus of Suburbia is.
I don't care. And then, like you said, with
he's
the
more
whininess,
of a concept. Yeah,
sure, yeah. But then, every now and then, the song is just like super whiny. Whether it's Billy Joe's, is it Joel or Joe?
Billy Joe. Billy Joel is the piano man.
Right.
Billy Joe.
Yeah, Billy Joe Armstrong. Yeah. I don't know whether sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes it's his voice, but it just doesn't resonate with me. So I have respect for the album because how crazy popular this thing was everywhere in high school when I was a kid. But yeah, it was never for me.
It's impressive. Like I didn't realize that Billy Joe was such a writer. Like he
Sure,
just
yeah.
wrote all this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
give him
pretty
credit
much
for that.
solely
Absolutely.
himself.
Yeah,
And the fact that it was like made into a play.
It's cohesive.
And a movie. It's like, or
Yeah.
they were talking about making a movie. It's like, what the heck? That's wild.
Did you read about why this album came about? It wasn't so much that Warning was a flop.
Because the one before got stolen.
Yeah, because the record got they were recording a record and the tapes got stolen.
Oh,
But it's still related to Warning being bad because the one that got
Yeah.
stolen was also random stuff. They're like, we had salsa, we had polka,
Right.
like it was random stuff.
I mean, hey,
and
I
then
respect
somebody
that.
they went back to their old producer and they're like, hey, this got stolen. He's like, was it your best work? And they were like, no, I guess you're right. Let's make something different.
Yeah.
So that's why they didn't kind of remake the one that they had lost. He was like, oh, is that the best thing you've ever made? And they were like, no.
Yeah, because Warning was like a folk punk album. So like it was like
Oh, that's neat.
So like it had a lot of acoustic punk, which is kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah.
But from what I've heard about the one that was stolen, it was like a continuation of that kind of sound, and then like they were trying to figure out what people liked about Green Day. And then they finally just went back and they were just like, why don't we do this concept? Why don't we come up with this concept? And then he like wrote this this album.
Thank God. There was apparently Christmas music on that other album.
Yeah,
Stolen.
it was just
It's
a
like-
mishmash of crap.
And they ended up getting it back, the album.
Oh yeah.
It was called Cigarettes and Valentines or something like that.
Is it
And
bad?
they've played they've played the title song live and stuff like that, but they haven't released it. They just
Right.
like have it back. But I'm sure there's a reason why they didn't release it. They must have been like, actually, clearly we should not release this. But yeah, I think it's an interesting album. I'm excited to talk songs. Should we give it one last listen?
Sure.
Sure.
Welcome to a new kind of tension all across the alien mission where everything is meant to be okay. I beg to dream and differ from all lies. This is the dawning of the rest. Innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends.
What an album.
There you go. What an album.
What an album.
It's an album. American Idiot, not a good song.
No.
It's funny. This is one of the only ones I actually like, kind of like a little bit, just because it's more upbeat. That's really it. I think the
He's
chorus
really
is
against
okay.
The media and
Oh,
stuff like that.
I don't care about the lyrics at all
Yeah,
in
the-
almost
the-
any of these tracks, Jamie.
The lyrics on this album are very like, I don't want to watch the TV. The TV doesn't tell you the real
They're
news.
shallow and pretentious.
Yeah.
And, like the whole album, I'm not crazy about it. So anytime I like a song, it's almost entirely because I like the energy, I like the guitar work or the drums,
Yeah.
or I like his singing, which is like, I don't know. I think they sing the chorus, they play the chorus and everything on this one like pretty good.
I like the chorus.
Yeah.
The chorus is catchy. The reason I don't like the song is because I listened to it so much as a kid.
Yes,
Totally.
likewise.
And like
It was on a
references,
lot of
there were
stuff.
like I think there was like a fake Weird Al or maybe a real Weird Al song. Oh yeah, Canadian Idiot, and there was like
Yeah.
all these other
Oh,
ones.
yeah,
It was in
Canadian
like
Idiot.
The Simpsons. Like they were so hot
Yeah.
that I am now burnt out. But I'm surprised that it's surprisingly tasteful considering the title. I thought it was going to be like when you hear American Idiot and the way it starts off, I feel like it's going to be more blunt than it is. But I kind of like.
It really beats you over the head though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It beats you over the head with what the theme of the album is going to be. It's like, oh, this guy, this character in this album, oh,
See, my problem is it's like
progressive.
it starts out with this bang and then it just dips like instantly when it gets to Jesus of Suburbia.
Yeah, the Jesus of Suburbia is it starts off slow and it introduces a character. And then you don't really learn anything about him other than this first section.
I don't think you need to know anything else, right? It's just like
He's just
it's a dude
it's a
who
concept.
stays
Yeah.
home, smokes weed, and takes Ritalin, and has an abusive father,
Yeah.
and a mother that forgives the father every time. And that's kind of like all you need to know is it's like standard Mick American man.
I wrote that it sounds like it's straight out of a 60s musical for the most part.
Yeah, it's very like a sitcom or like a drama, like on
Yeah.
TV's level, skin level deep of a character.
It's just
Yeah.
like doesn't believe in anything, but there's something wrong with society. it's not me. Society has a problem going on.
Hey.
Nothing wrong with me or my lifestyle, though. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a catchy song, though. Or at least this Jesus Suburbia first kind of section is
Yeah.
very, very catchy.
Yeah.
An interesting fact about the album being stolen is that a lot of them are really short songs. And when they started writing this album, they pretty much just started writing random short songs, which got turned into these almost, what was that thing from, what's it called? Paul's Boutique? Bully.
Oh, Bouillabaisse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Bouillabaisse.
pretty much just that.
Bouillabaisse,
They
yeah.
made a bunch of small songs and then took them and made them little story sections in this and Homecoming.
It's
which is
funny. I
interesting.
don't like Bouillabaisse.
I like
And I like Bouillabaisse.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah,
That's
that
good
makes
stuff on
sense. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot could have been cut from. I mean, I saw this as like a full 9-minute track, so
Yeah.
maybe that helps.
I
with
like
that,
the
but-
breakdown in City of the Damned.
Me too. I like City of the
the
Damned.
City of the Damned is a good
So
part.
it was separate tracks on the CD I had as well. I would just put City of the Damned on repeat for a lot. I was like, yeah, it's City of the Damned. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
So badass.
Yeah, it's I of course thought the whole, my Bible's the stuff written on the stall of a bathroom in a mall. I was like, dang, that's hardcore.
Deep.
And again, it's cheesy, but it is somewhat interesting.
Sure.
It is somewhat interesting for that character to be like so engraved or ingrained in this society that he hates and stuff like that, and that little bit of rebellion is how he bases his whole life, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't care.
I don't
care if you
care.
don't. I don't care if you don't care.
Yeah. Wow, did we just say that in unison? It is. That is the most whatever.
That
part
one's
of
too
it.
edgy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
Oh,
get
it's
it.
too edgy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Wow.
But then it goes into Dearly Beloved.
which is another slow breakdown.
Catchy. I like the pace change.
Yeah.
It's better.
I like he's writing a letter to his love and then just to therapy. Mm-hmm. Dear therapy, can you please fill the void? It's like, oh, okay, sure.
And then Tales from Another Broken Home is it ends well.
Home.
Home.
Yeah, it's about him running away from home.
Yeah.
It's a solid introductory song for Jesus. And it's crazy because it's like he must have known that this was going to be turned into a musical. It feels like he just wrote a musical but didn't want to
does.
make a play.
The whole thing.
He wanted to make an
yeah.
album.
Especially this track. Yeah, it really
Because it's
does
like
feel
I
a
could just
musical.
feel like people singing with them as he's
Yeah.
leaving town and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's just it's a little on the nose, but not bad.
As much as I don't like it,
extremely on the nose.
particularly the second half of like the full 9 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
it does paint a nice picture. Like the whole time, like
Mm.
you know, I could
Yeah.
visualize what he's trying to talk about.
I've never
and
seen the
stuff.
musical, but I imagine this
Me either.
this section of it is
I
quite
would
drawn
love to
out.
see the musical.
Is it even on Broadway anymore?
It was for years.
Really?
It's not anymore.
Kidding.
Is
Oh yeah.
that popular?
Even
Oh
Billy
my
and Joe
God.
was in some of them as
Yeah.
Saint Jimmy. I think he played.
Sure.
Okay.
So
I've
it's
seen
wild.
Jimmy's running down the avenue or whatever it is.
Sure.
Sure.
Wow.
Next song is an actual regular song.
Holiday.
It's banger. Back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah. What I realized.
I find it a little too country right now. Sorry.
too country.
Crunchy.
You
Oh,
know, like
crunchy.
how crunchy the guitars sound. Like
I
you know,
don't mind.
like like how the loudness thing was a thing.
Yeah,
in the
I
early
know.
2000s.
I don't mind that too much though.
Anyway, it's fine.
What I realized today while listening to it again, because I listened to it like a week ago or so, and I made all my notes, and I was listening to it today. AFI basically ripped this off like a year later with Miss Murder.
Miss Murder,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Miss Murder was another hot song.
Don't get me wrong, I actually like Miss Murder. I'm like a bit of an AFI fan. Only some tracks, but
Is it just Miss Murder? Because that's
No.
their only good song.
nah,
honestly.
there's some other good stuff. But yeah, it's just like I asked Matt because I'm like, he'll know.
Matt loves pop punk.
Yeah, he loves this stuff.
He was in a pop punk band,
and he
Oh,
was-
sorry, that
yeah.
was a ska band. Yeah.
Oh no, he was a ska
No,
band.
It wasn't
What?
a ska band. He was in.
Okay, well, anyway, he's like, yeah, it was like, he pulls up like the beats per minute and like the chord progression and all this stuff. And he's like, look, it's like almost the same. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Just, I don't know, fun little story. That's pretty much it. But yeah, they're basically the same. Otherwise, oh man, I hate this song. It was just played too much in high school. That's
Yeah, played a lot.
That's almost entirely it for me. It was
And,
overplayed.
Man, again, it's like I said earlier about it kind of feeling dated. There's tons of direct references
Yep.
to government operations and actions and Bush and all that, which again at the time maybe brought awareness to stuff like that. But now it's just like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, it is extremely, and it's beats you over the head about how much he's against the war, or any war.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm against the war too.
Okay.
I want that on record. All right, get it?
Well,
Record.
it's on this record. It's called Holiday.
It's not my favorite song. The chorus is catchy.
Sure. Yeah. On
Lives on
holiday.
Holiday. Yeah, okay, sure.
Like it's not a bad song. I really only hate this one because I have heard it like a million freaking times, and I already wasn't crazy about it back then. And
Yeah.
But you know what song I've heard a million times and
Oh
still
my
love?
God.
Boulevard of
You
Broken
love I hate
It holds
Boulevard.
up.
I
It's catchy.
hate-
There's so many good memes. It gives me a Nemo headbang. Like, it's so good.
So long.
This is like just edgy teenager.
Yeah, it's like another
sad.
4 minutes.
I hate this song so much.
I didn't even like the song when it was new.
This
it's good,
is
though.
I remember sitting in my media studies class and we analyzed part of this album because
I can
it was a
imagine that, for sure.
like it was a current album, and this album had like 4 singles in the top 20.
It was like a tour de force when it came out. Like this thing was crazy popular.
So the last single had just come out, and it was "Wake Me Up When September Ends." We'll get to that in a minute.
God.
It's like 4 songs down the list. Anyway, but we looked at them and it's like, what made those successful singles? And it's like, well, they're loud, and they're not the song that's 9 minutes long.
yeah.
I'm listening right now and I'm headbanging.
Wow.
your headband.
Loves it that
Song.
much.
Is great. And it's got some story development with the realization of Jesus that he's alone and his mental health is extremely poor. Mm-hmm. And again, the crashing down from Holiday, that excitement of like, I'm going to change the world, to like, wow, it's really not that easy, hey? Wow, I'm just moved somewhere alone, nobody, and obviously not everything is just going my way.
I don't think there's we discussed it in the previous track, but like another thing that makes this album slightly dated is the number of slurs that it uses that are
I don't agree, because he is bisexual.
no that kind of stuff.
I mean, that doesn't make it
no,
okay.
No, but
it
it's
uses
to get that reaction, that like
uses,
harshness, that he's being called that himself.
they uses the R slur a couple of times.
I don't know. At the time, we all said it.
Yeah.
Like,
it,
Dane
but
Cook
it,
was
it
extremely
is
popular.
It is very
It's,
of
like,
the
awful
time.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
As much as I'd like to pretend that I didn't hold
I've
your
actually
breath.
never said that word.
I don't believe that. You're not that much younger than us.
But yeah, it definitely.
You're not a saint.
It isn't great, but it came out in 2004, and I
Yeah,
mean,
it is what it is.
It's whatever. And with the F slurs, I think it's for a point.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Sure.
I like the ending of this song, the instrumental outro, because again,
Yeah.
it's almost like everything gets even worse. It's like all of a sudden even heavier, and then kind of like abruptly ends.
The
as
video
it's like
for
this
this song
destruction.
is very much like that. Yeah.
Whenever I think of this or hear this song, all I think about is like sad, edgy teenagers sitting around getting baked and crying.
Yeah.
It's just
Yes. Updating my MySpace status.
Nexopia.
Don't talk. Yeah, next up. Yeah.
That's Boulevard.
Don't want to
for
talk
me.
about it. Then it's Are We the Waiting, which is just that realization of like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just in a new place. And let me tell you, I've been there, buddy. I moved from a small town to Vancouver, and I was like, it was during COVID. I was like, don't know anybody except for the one person I still talk to from university. And
Yeah.
here I am,
Yeah.
which is pretty much just this whole song. It's just,
I like the
Who are we?
harmony or the like where the voices are singing in unison. I like that part of this.
Yeah.
Song. Are we are.
yep. And it's again this
Choir?
expansion of there's two people inside them, anger and love.
Rage and Love, baby.
Yep. It's pretty much just exists. I'm not a huge fan of the song. I don't
It's
think
a
I'd skip
transition
it.
between Boulevard of Broken Dreams, which ends kind of loud, and St. Jimmy, which is kind of a fast song.
Which, speaking of that transition, I like it from like the Are We the Waiting to St. Jimmy's coming to dinner, like really fast all of a sudden.
It's like we've done like a star wipe to another scene, and then that person is Saint Jimmy, and
he is
coming
angry,
down.
and
Yeah.
he's on drugs, and he's edgy, and he doesn't care if he lives or dies.
This is one
And
of
it's
the more punk songs on the album, and I actually enjoy it probably more than most of the other tracks.
He's Otto the bus driver from The Simpsons.
Wow, how apt. Yeah, it's just a lot faster and just fun. I don't know. Yeah, St. Jimmy is like one of the top 3 for me.
Yeah, St.
on
Jimmy's a
the
good
album,
song.
I'd
I like
say.
that song.
It's okay. I think I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do like the introduction to Jimmy as a character through this.
Sure.
There's a lot of kind of fun references and stuff like that, but it's who he is. Don't wear it out.
Yeah.
That's his name. Up next is Give Me Novocaine.
I like this song.
I think it holds up again. I think it's a good song.
This is one of the only ones that I actually like Billy Joe's singing on. But yeah, it's okay. I like Give Me the Novocaine.
Yeah,
Or Give Me Novocaine.
He does a lot of drugs, and he's now in pain and withdrawal, and he's realizing that things might be getting out of hand.
Yeah.
And Jesus would rather just get the pain over with, rather than going to the root and dealing with it. It's
Hell
just like,
yeah.
give me a quick fix. Give me Novocaine. And it's good.
It's a loud song, and I appreciate like how heavy the instrumentation is on it.
Sure.
I enjoyed this song when I was a teen. I didn't really look at the lyrics too closely like Belle just analyzed, but I don't think I've still done that. But it's a good song. I enjoy it.
And then it's another quick transition to She's a Rebel.
Vigilante.
I don't like this track
She's
at
the
all.
salt of the earth, and she's dangerous.
She is.
This is another
Please
one.
keep an eye out for her.
Yeah.
Citizens, stay inside.
And that song is 2 minutes long, and it goes into Extraordinary Girl,
Whoa,
which
whoa,
has
whoa,
weird
whoa! What, you're already skipping over this song? I literally haven't said a single word. It's a weird intro.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at that. I started looking at their notes because you started moving on.
Damn it.
It's a quick transition. It's just a song about a girl who knows what she wants. It sticks to it to a fault, and it's someone to look up to. Surprisingly, the line "She's holding on my heart like a hand grenade" was added after the artwork.
Oh.
So the artwork was first, and they were like,
It fits
"That's
here.
badass. Put this in the song," and he added it. The song is fine. Now I am done.
Yeah, the song is filler.
I can't stand that
It
song.
it introduces another character that doesn't really get brought up ever again.
No, she gets brought up constantly.
The hand
We'll
grenade
talk
lyric
about more,
is cool.
but she's brought up constantly this album. Extraordinary Girl, weird intro. I like this song.
Oh, because it's kind of like psychedelic sounding.
I think it's a
That
weird.
is,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just like a weird out of nowhere.
It's a weird start that I don't think it really fits, and I don't know why they went this route. It's got like tribal djembe stuff.
Something must happen in the
like,
play.
It's got to
during
yeah.
this.
Something has to happen visually for this to like make
Maybe
sense.
it's them being on drugs together and being in
Maybe.
love. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very odd. It's
Yeah.
psychedelic, but it doesn't really match the rest of it.
Yeah, there's
but
like sitar and stuff. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
very strange.
I was surprised when this started playing.
Yeah, I like the song, but it's very boring considering the themes. It's just like, I love this girl, and it's not a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. But the pacing is interesting, and the beat is kind of like engaging enough.
Sure.
I don't remember anything about Letterbomb.
Well, let me tell you. The intro is sung by the lead singer of Bikini Kill,
Wow.
who Billy Joe Armstrong says is his favorite
Oh,
singer.
nobody likes you, everybody hates you. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
They're all out without you having fun.
Yeah.
It's just a breakup song, and then she goes, "What the hell's wrong with you? St. Jimmy's not a real person. Like you're just a weirdo. Like you're a psycho, and no one likes you, and I'm done with you."
Wow.
And a letter bomb is sending an extremely hurtful and hateful letter to somebody. So it's just like I guess this song
Unless
is
you're the Unabomber. in
a
which
letter
case
to
it's
somebody.
Very hurtful.
yeah. This letter is just a song is just a letter to Jesus from what's her name, and then Jesus realizes that the whole city and society as a whole is messed up, and maybe it's not his job to fix it.
Wow. Insightful.
But I mean, it's a fine enough song. What do you think? It's kind of more punky.
I don't like either of them. I think Letterbomb. So, because I was writing both of these together, I wrote that. This time I prefer neither song, though Letterbomb is a bit better in my opinion.
You don't like
Fair.
the Fight Club moment? It's
I don't
one
know.
person.
I wasn't crazy about
Oh?
this. I thought I thought that Letterbomb was better than
Saint
Extraordinary
Jimmy and
Girl.
Jesus of Suburbia are the
but
same guy?
What?
What?
I don't know. Mind blowing.
Also, back in 2004, Jamie, it wouldn't be the Unabomber. It'd be like SARS letters. Remember that?
Oh, no. It wasn't SARS. It was Anthrax.
Anthrax. You're right.
That's
Anthrax
right.
letters.
SARS was the thing at the concert I went to.
Wow, I forgot
I went
about
to the
that.
SARS concert.
Forgot
It was
about
great.
Anthrax.
I saw AC/DC.
Wow, they got one song.
Flaming Lips.
You know, I do like the chorus to Letterbomb, though.
Fair enough.
Go back
sure.
to the song.
Sure, yeah.
Well, up next, the only song that's not related to the American Idiot story,
The
Wake Me Up
classic.
When September Ends. The only reason it's on this album is because Billy was never ready to sing the song because it's about his father's passing, and he finally felt ready to record it, so they put it on this album, even though it's not related to
Anything on
going
here?
on.
Okay.
It's beautiful song. It's super sad. Please stop tweeting at him saying "Wake up" on October 1st. It's about his dad dying.
That's sad that it's about his dad
I
dying.
always thought it was about 9/11.
That's what I thought too.
So his dad
Yeah.
died on September 1st, and allegedly at the funeral, he told his mom, "Wake me up when September ends."
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like went, it locked himself in his room.
It's a catchy line, and like it just got overplayed so much as a kid. I already didn't like it that much because it's like super whiny and like sad and stuff. I don't.
Whiny.
Like I said, I thought that this was about 9/11 in 2004. So, well, especially with all the other themes and
that's
everything,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
So, to me, like, obviously, yeah, if it's about his dad, that's much sadder and deep and actually, like that touching. But back then, I thought it was about 9/11, and I was like, dude, shut up. It's been like 3 years. Like,
wow, it's been like 3 years.
Get over it, bro.
well, I mean, to go this hard, and then for them to just overplay the hell out of it, I don't know.
They didn't overplay it. It was just in demand.
Sure, we can go with that.
It's a beautiful song.
I don't know. I don't like his voice on this one.
It was
I find
the
it
last
nasally.
single from this album.
Yeah, I find it like nasally and whiny on it. I don't know. I don't. Maybe he was actually crying during singing, and that makes me feel terrible. But I don't like Wake Me Up.
Maybe
in
you
September.
like Homecoming, the next kind of epic multi-part track.
No.
I didn't. I'm not as big of a fan. The story's kind of like whatever, and the parts aren't as catchy or unique. And it feels like it's more just to like wrap up this story that they've started on their own. They're like, okay,
Wrap
go,
it up.
go.
Yeah. Wrap it up. Yeah.
I liked it when I was younger, but now I'm like, what? Like the Death of Saint Jimmy is just like there.
It's saying goodbye to a character that was introduced 5 songs ago.
I like the intro and the stomping.
Fair enough. Sure.
You know, it's a fun way to start the song. And it's like Saint Jimmy found his place in the city, and he's got followers, and everyone's problems are because of their parents, and then he kills himself. And it's like, Saint Jimmy, what the hell is that? All your problems are because of your parents, and then he's dead. It's like, okay, which just means Jesus is only himself now. He's not both him and Saint Jimmy. But I'm like, what kind of realization based on what?
Yeah.
Especially because it's like he just gets broken up with. He gets to the letter bomb, and he's like,
And
"You're right. It is my parents' fault." It's like, what?
It was mom and dad's fault all along.
Stupid.
I didn't realize that it wasn't one track, so I wrote, "My brother in Christ, this song is over 9 minutes long. It's like Jesus. It's like Jesus of Suburbia all over again, and I'm
You
not
listen
into
to Sleep
it."
by Dope. Nope, Dope Smoker by Sleep, and you complain about 9 minutes, bro.
There's a difference. It's not the same thing. That's like a rhythmic, hypnotic experience. This is just music. I don't know how to explain
It's not just
that.
music; it's a story.
It's
Because East 12th Street, he talks about the realization that nobody cares. So why does he care? Just let the world be awful. And then he gets a regular job, and then he still thinks about what's her name. That's why I'm like, no, she comes up constantly because he's like, I can't let her
Yeah,
go
there's a
though.
whole
Like
track.
I wish I could.
the whole track is called What's Her Name.
Called What's Her Name.
But
And
isn't
then-
that funny? He doesn't even remember her name.
Exactly. So he's like, I still suffer from anxiety because I work in this stupid regular job. And then he freaks out again. He just leaves his regular job. He can't get over what's her name. And it goes into Nobody Likes You, which is a reference to the letter that she sent him. Because he's still not over it, even though it's been so many years because he works a regular job. It's not like time has passed in this story. It's just weak. But then he starts talking about Spike TV. And I loved Spike TV as a
me
kid. I was
too.
like, okay, I'm back on board.
So it's Star Trek.
That's all it took. I was back on board.
I actually don't hate What's Her Name.
We're not at what's her name yet.
Oh, we got two
We
more
still have
parts.
2 more
Oh,
parts.
right. Sorry.
he's
I forgot
talking about
Homecoming
Spike
is-
TV. Nobody likes you. He's like, I wish I had friends, but I don't. I should have just stayed home. Like, I shouldn't have done anything at all. Like, I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have gone to the city. And then, again, he's trying to fall asleep, but can't get past what's her name's thoughts. And then Rock and Roll Girlfriend.
Oh.
Got a rock and roll girlfriend.
It's because he reaches out to somebody in his old town, and the guy responds back going like, my life is great here in the old town. Stop reaching out to me. I'm sorry your life sucks, but I don't give a care.
See you later.
I don't give a single care.
I don't have a care in the world for you.
Yeah, so he's like, get away from me. Stop messaging me. So like, he doesn't even have friends in his old town.
Blocked on AIM.
He got blocked.
American.
And then the last part of the song is called "We're Coming Home Again," which is just the fact that he ends up in the small dead end town, and it again ends with stuff from what's her name.
Yeah.
So even when he's back in his old town, it's like he still has that echoing his mind of the letter that she sent him, and it's just like, this guy is an incel.
I wonder how what's her name is.
He's like, oh, nobody likes me. It's like, oh. But it ends with Plouffe here. It ends with what's her name.
I like What's Her Name. It's one of the. So I wrote that, at least it didn't end with another 9-minute song. And I don't hate this track. I think if someone played it by itself and didn't tell me it was Green Day, I'd probably rate it relatively highly.
Fair enough.
But as is, it's tainted by the previous 50 minutes. And by the end of it, I don't know. By the song by itself, yeah, I actually think What's Her Name is decent. But
I think it's okay. It wasn't my favorite track. By the time you got to that on the album,
exactly.
you were neck deep into the good stuff that was played on the radio already. So
I like this song a lot. It's the one that kind of popped into my head, or like on my Spotify or something like that, where I started listening to this song again, and it's one of the reasons why I thought to choose it and buy the record in the first place. It's probably my favorite song on the album, alongside "Give Me Novocaine."
Cool.
Again, it's just like the album ends with him still trying to forget her, and drugs have taken away a lot of the memories, and he can't remember who she is, and he's burnt all the photos, so he doesn't remember what she really
What a
looked like.
fool.
It's just
What
like
an
the
idiot.
memories they had together. It's just like, okay, I can't do anything about this. I guess I'm just still in love with you. It just seems like a really boring and weak ending, and like to create a whole album for it to boil down to like, I
hung
like
up
this
on my
girl, but
girlfriend.
she doesn't love me back.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, come on. You spend the first 12 minutes of this album introducing this character to have him obsessed with a girl who's talked about in a 2-minute song.
yeah,
Come on.
It's very legit. It starts with like really political and stuff, and just
And it
turns
all
into
boils down
yeah.
to I'm in love with this girl.
In this-
and every single
Yeah.
part.
Wow.
Oh, I can't get over the fact she told me I have no friends, even though I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
can't believe she gave me a reality check about how sad my life is.
Jesus is straight an incel. Like,
Wow.
bro, it sucks. But I like the song.
Sure, yeah. I don't like the message.
The
but I like
character arc
the song.
is unsatisfactory. You're correct. Yeah.
It's too realistic. There's too many people that actually live that story arc. It's too depressing
true.
to
Too
think
many
about.
people we work with.
Oh,
I don't know if that's
Cut
true.
that,
No.
cut
damn. Cut that.
Got that part.
But yeah, so let's, I mean, do you have any thoughts about any of the songs? Like, we should talk about the record itself. I feel
Yeah.
like we kind of covered the fact that it's just an album.
Wait, is this one of those gatefolds where the record comes out of the top and
No.
rather than from the side?
No, but let me tell you about it.
Okay.
This record.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at it from the wrong angle.
You sure are. So it's got the heart with a hand grenade. Green Day presents
Classic.
American Idiot.
Wow.
on the inside of the
Presents.
gatefold. It's a very, I feel like it's kind of just of the time. I feel like a lot of emo stuff was this, but maybe this started that emo stuff when I was a
The
kid.
red and black?
So a lot of red and black and white.
Yeah.
It's got all the song names as well as all of the lyrics to all the different parts of all the songs as well.
Wonderful.
Seems like a nice release at least.
Yeah, it's cool. And I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
On the back, we just have the track listing, which again does have the parts split out
Oh,
into
dude,
their
it's got
little
a parental
subparts.
advisory sticker on it. Holy crap!
Pardon?
It's got
Parental
explicit
advisory
lyrics
stamp.
then,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of explicit lyrics.
Yeah.
And then the pin from the hand grenades on the back.
Oh, you
Oh,
popped
that's
it.
what that is. Okay.
but-
Is the vinyl any special color?
Nope.
Oh.
Just black. And I don't think there's
It's just
anything-
one disc, right?
No, there's two.
Oh,
There's
two.
got to be two. It's like almost 60 minutes
For the
long.
splits, it kind of makes sense.
Well,
It's,
Paul's boutique is 60 minutes long. Mine's only one disc.
I don't know how the hell they managed that, Jamie. Mine is two.
Micro groove, baby.
Yeah, those micro grooves.
all the splits really make sense. Because like when you listen, a lot of them bleed together.
Yes.
But I believe all the ones on this don't have the bleed togethers cut off. So you still get the kind of like abrupt changes
Oh, really?
between the important songs.
Huh.
Yeah.
My CD player was never fast enough to do like the quick changes, so like it would like cut and then like it would like start reading and then it would play the next song. So I
yeah.
never got that until I ripped the CD and put it on my computer. I was like, oh, there's a nice transition between these tracks.
Yeah.
It's not a big gap anymore.
Yeah, so it's a fun record. It sounds good. I listened to it when I was writing all my notes and everything, as I usually do. But
Crunch corner.
I do have a crunch corner. Showed up like that.
That's okay.
Oh,
it
right.
happens. Yeah.
Thanks, Plouffe. That makes me feel better.
You're welcome.
Well, Plouffe, what's your vinyl verdict?
Well, after Spotify finished the album, it went to What's My Age Again by Blink-182.
Great song.
And then In Too Deep by Sum 41.
Great song.
And that just kind of cemented my opinion that these guys are pop punk and not like punk. I basically agree with the initial Pitchfork review, just not the score. They said, while never very lyrically insightful or poetic, American Idiot is certainly the band's most ambitious record to date.
You guys and your
I can
Pitchfork
agree.
reviews.
Jamie pushed me onto it, man. I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't looking at them
You're
until
gonna
he
start
started
naming
bringing them
singles
up.
after this too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I can't remember what they scored it, but I wouldn't score it that
It was
high.
like a 7.2. Like, it
Something-
was still surprisingly high for
It's
Pitchfork.
yeah, it was surprisingly high. So, but like I don't know. So it's all fair and good, but I think I would give it like a 5 out of 10. I can't stand this album. I don't like Green Day. I tried listening to Dookie after I listened to this to see if I just don't like Green Day or if I just don't like American Idiot because I knew that it was very different. But I didn't really like Dookie either.
No one likes Dookie.
No one likes Dookie?
No,
I
no,
thought
no,
that
no,
was
no,
really-
No, I was making a poop joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was one of their like more popular albums.
It is. Also, their performance at Woodstock '94 that year was legendary.
Sure.
And they played that entire album.
I'm sure it was. But
they got
yeah,
poop and mud thrown at them, and they
that's
still played.
fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. I just really don't like this album. It wasn't for me when I was in high school. That cemented it with a bad taste in my mouth. And now listening to it later, I just definitely know that it's not the music that's for me. That's for sure. It's an album.
Jim, what do you think?
Thinking back to when I was in high school and how much I enjoyed the album back then, and then thinking back to now, it's really like more of a journey about like how I've changed in the last 20 years. So like if let's go back and think about like what would 16-year-old Jamie rate this album. I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 13.
Wow.
Right
Oh,
now
okay,
it's-
right out of 13. Yeah.
It's about a 6 now.
Wow, really?
It's not an album I would go back and listen to more than 2 or 3 songs.
I do think it has some. Yeah, it's got some good tracks. It's not terrible.
And none of the songs that I would listen to are the singles.
Really?
So
Oh yeah, I guess I
let
don't
us
even
read
know.
the singles.
Yeah, what were the singles? Because I like.
Let us read the singles.
We almost made it a whole episode.
Let us
without
read the
him
singles.
talking about
Our
the
singles were American Idiot, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Holiday, Wake Me Up When September Ends, and Jesus of Suburbia. Actually,
yeah.
I
With any,
listened to
you didn't say any passion either. You just blew right through them.
because they're all songs.
Yeah, I don't like any of the singles. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Jesus of Suburbia I would listen to, but only like
Certain parts of it,
two of
yeah.
the 5 sections. Yeah. But yeah, like I liked the album back then. I'm a different person than I was back then. I don't think I'm like terribly changed, but like the person who would listen to that music and be like, yeah, he's really saying something.
Yeah.
That guy died years ago. So, anyway, what do you think, Bill, as the owner of the album? Clear
Young
the
me. Oh.
Go on, sorry.
Young me would say this is one of the best albums of all time.
Wow.
Current me would say this is okay. I frequently said I don't like songs that tell stories, but an album that tells stories is a bit different, so don't send me DMs about it.
Okay.
Do not. It's different. I'm not
I'm
a
gonna
hypocrite.
check the email inbox after this one.
I am not a hypocrite. Listening to this album to take notes was the first time I really paid attention to lyrics, understand the story they were trying to tell, I think. And I feel like that was a detriment to my enjoyment of the album, and probably all future enjoyments of or listens to the album.
Yeah.
Some of the songs are quite good and hold up on their own, but it feels like half the album could probably be skipped or more.
That's
like it,
totally.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it. I would love to see the Broadway play of this, though, and they've talked about making a movie for ages. I think the movie would be tacky or boring, but the play would
Yes.
probably be cool.
Play would be more
I mean, we've just
interesting,
told
yeah.
this story so many times now, right?
Yeah.
I actually lowered it down just now because after re-listening as we're talking about it, I was like, yeah, no, there's quite a few songs that I'm just like,
It's like 50-50 for me.
it's honestly like 50-50.
Right? Like I said before, I hate how much they change the pacing. And I get for a story like a play or something, that makes sense. That totally, you get an arch, like that's fine. But when I'm listening to it, it's annoying. And then I hate like all of the non-fast songs, basically. All the slower ones just really aren't for me.
And I prefer the slow ones. I'm going to put it in the 13th spot above Live at Leeds by The Who and below Chinese Fountain by The Growlers. It's a cool concept and a great album for the time, but the few standout tracks on this album really carry the rest. Like, boy, I don't know. People on Spotify listen to this.
No, it's garbage
They've
on
ruined
Spotify.
the album by grouping them together. I was like,
it's
why
awful.
is American Idiot by far the most listened? It's like, oh, because you have to listen to Holiday to listen to Boulevard of Broken Dreams. What? That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense
was-
whatsoever.
It was annoying. I didn't.
It's not like that on Apple
I
Music.
get
It's
it.
the
It's
Spotify.
not like that on the CD.
I'll give them like an extra, 5.5
silly.
because it's not.
It's apparently
I wrote
like this
that
on
before I knew
Deezer
that.
as well.
Oh,
so
who listens to
Deezer and Spotify.
Deezer,
I don't
bro?
know. I don't. No one has Deezer.
James Tribe, if you're listening to this, get a real music player.
Deezer.
Deezer. But yeah, Holiday and Boulevard Broken Dreams. What? Give me Novocaine and She's Rebel. Like, it doesn't make sense. The groupings even.
Yeah.
Why would She's Rebel and Extraordinary Girl not be together with Letterbomb at that point? Like,
Sure.
I don't know.
Bell,
Silly.
how many albums are on the list now? So you said it's the 13th spot, but what is that out of?
Oh, God.
Like 20?
30?
More than
That's
that.
We're
yeah.
almost on like 30th episode, aren't we?
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
28.
Man,
so
I gotta like
13, 28.
stop and look through that.
That's
and then
why I
rank
asked
them
for a
myself.
second season so I could restart the list.
Do you want to
Yeah.
start another list? I don't know. It's the beginning
Well,
of season 2.
Plouffe
here.
declined.
Well, we gotta wait until it's been a year.
Why?
Because
What
then
an
you're gonna end
arbitrary
up with
thing
the
to
same.
consider.
You're gonna end up with the same
So
problem.
why couldn't it be January 1st?
I don't know. It's
We
gonna be a
started
longer.
recording
It's gonna be a
last
longer
November.
list. Did we?
Yeah. Our first
What?
episode was recorded in like early December.
No,
or,
we actually
was
no,
it?
it was not. That's
I thought
first
we
of all.
started
Oh,
in
no,
like
no.
June or something.
No,
We started posting in June.
yeah, no, we
We started recording in like April.
No, it was because I used the money from the Christmas party to buy the Behringer thing.
That's right. But
that
we
doesn't mean we
bought
start
that and we didn't
recording.
use it for like a month or two, though,
I
at
swear.
least.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
This guy's wilding.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
breaking the
we're gonna
fourth
cut
wall.
all that out.
He's breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 13 of 28. What did I say? What
All
did
right.
you say?
So that's-
Editor, put in what I said.
there you go.
13 of 28.
28. 21. So it's still above the average because, like I said, there are some really solid tracks. And I'm definitely not putting it above or below Mars Volta.
Sure.
Not doing that.
Gift of Gab.
Well, we don't have the gift of gab. We're done here.
We're
so
done.
tune in next week when we listen to Jamie's pick.
Led Zeppelin 4.
Whoa.
Led Zeppelin's fourth album.
What a twist.
What a twist.
See ya.